Millions of people visit Yellowstone every year, thinking they are looking at untouched wilderness. But beneath this landscape is evidence of something far older. Long before Yellowstone became America's first national park, long before modern roads and tourists, people were already traveling through this extraordinary landscape. And the evidence isn't based on an old legend. Archaeologists have found physical traces, stone tools, projectile points, campsites. One of those early projectile points was made from obsidian, a volcanic glass found in Yellowstone. But this black volcanic glass tells us something much bigger than where a tool came from. Obsidian from Yellowstone traveled through exchange networks extending far beyond the park. That means Yellowstone was not simply a place people passed through. Its resources connected it to a much larger world. Then the climate changed.
As the environment changed after the Ice Age, animals, plants, and human lifeways changed with it. Archaeological evidence.
By around 9,500 years ago, evidence shows people were using resources, including deer and bighorn sheep. And Yellowstone's human story wasn't limited to the valleys. Archaeologists have now identified sites at surprisingly high elevations, including locations more than 11,000 feet above sea level. How extensively people use these environments. New archaeological research has changed that picture. Today, more than 2,000 archaeological sites have been documented inside Yellowstone National Park, and many of those sites contain evidence from different periods layered on top of one another. In some locations, researchers can literally read thousands of years of human activity through the ground. One remarkable example comes from the Yellowstone Lake area. That means people were using Yellowstone Lake's landscape thousands of years before Yellowstone became a national park. But one discovery goes even further. Researchers found evidence at a site called Malin Creek that revealed something unexpected about the landscape itself.
Thousands of years ago, part of the area contained a lake that no longer exists today. Evidence helped researchers reconstruct this vanished landscape.
People had lived beside that ancient lake roughly 9,400 to 9,800 years ago. So the Yellowstone landscape we see today is not exactly landscape people experienced thousands of years ago. Rivers changed, lakes disappeared, climate shifted, and people adapted. By about 3,000 years ago, evidence includes structures associated with shelters, bison hunting, animal traps, and other activities. This is where people lived and traveled. Then, thousands of years later, European-American explorers entered the region. But here's an important correction to a story Americans often hear. They entered a landscape that native peoples had known, traveled through, and used for thousands of years. The archaeological record is one reason historians now tell Yellowstone's story differently. And that history becomes especially important when Yellowstone becomes America's first national park. Yellowstone was established in 1872, but creating a national park also changed the relationship between the government, visitors. Today, the National Park Service recognizes ties to 27 tribes associated with Yellowstone. The human history of Yellowstone there doesn't end with archaeology. And some of the oldest evidence in Yellowstone is still being studied today. Radiocarbon dating helps establish when people used particular places. Chemical analysis of obsidian can help researchers determine where volcanic glass came from. And those tiny pieces of stone can reveal movements that happened across enormous distances. That's the surprising part of archaeology. Sometimes a small stone can tell a much bigger story than a monument. And Yellowstone has thousands of those stories buried beneath its landscape. Some sites are obvious. Others leave only faint traces. Some questions can be answered, others remain open. The more evidence researchers uncover, the harder it becomes to describe Yellowstone as simply an untouched wilderness. And that's exactly why the story of Yellowstone is still changing. So the next time you see Yellowstone's geysers, mountains, and forests, remember, you're not looking at a place without history. You're looking at a landscape, and perhaps the biggest mystery isn't who discovered Yellowstone, but how much of its oldest human history is still waiting to be understood. This is Questerio, Real history, real evidence, and the stories most people never hear. Subscribe, share this video, and tell us which forgotten chapter of American history we should uncover next.